Hi there and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Gillian. Now in today's video, I wanted to share with you guys how I'm able to work from home and support my family. I know that there are a lot of people out there who have some sort of side hustle that they do from home where they make a couple extra $100 per month. But the reason that I wanted to share with you about how I work from home is because I'm actually able to make several $1,000s every month, and it's enough to support my husband, 2 little kids, and myself. So I thought that by sharing exactly what I do and how I got started with it, it might give you some ideas for how you can either turn your side hustle into something that can support you full-time from home, or it could give you some ideas about what you could start doing to be able to make more money from home. Alright, so let's start with a little bit of backstory so that you understand a little bit where I came from. So my husband and I got married about 5.5 years ago, and at that time we were both working jobs. I was doing freelance work, so I guess it wasn't really a job, but it basically was. I wasn't working for someone else, I was working for myself, but I was just doing freelance work and I wasn't making very much money. My husband was working as an employee and he wasn't making very much either, and that's probably how it goes for most newlyweds, right? So ever since we got married, my husband kept working different jobs and I kept doing freelance work, and the thing was that most of the time I was making more money than him, not a whole lot, but more money. But while I was making more money, it definitely wasn't enough to support both of us, especially after we had our first child. But it was kind of annoying because while I was dealing with both the pros and the cons of being self-employed, my husband was dealing with the pros and the cons of being an employee, and so we kind of had the problems from both without really getting to experience the full benefits of both. Now what I mean by that was we had to deal with his schedule. You know, he had to show up at work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, which meant that we couldn't travel very much, and he had to wake up at a certain time every morning, and I couldn't just leave because I had to watch the kids because he had to be gone at his job. But on the other hand, we had the negative of being self-employed, of the uncertainty from month to month and the risk that you're taking on as an entrepreneur. So we had those negatives, but we didn't really get to fully enjoy the positives of the freedom. It was a little bit rough because of those things, but it seemed like it was what we had to do because my husband didn't really want to be self-employed and I definitely didn't want to be an employee, but we needed both of our incomes. So a couple years ago, I was thinking about this a whole lot, and I was realizing that I really love working, not in the sense of being a workaholic so much as I just really love what I do, especially being an entrepreneur and being self-employed and getting to do, you know, to some extent whatever I want. It allows me a lot of freedom to be able to do things that are truly enjoyable to me. So I like my work and I earn more than my husband per hour, and so I realized that what I really wanted was to be able to make enough money that my husband didn't have to work, not necessarily because I wanted to retire my husband, but because I didn't want us to keep dealing with the negatives of him having a job. I wanted us to be able to travel, I wanted us to be able to go to the park on a Wednesday morning if we wanted to, and I wanted one of us to be able to stay home with our kids a whole lot more because the way it was, it seemed like we were 2 ships passing in the night. We didn't see each other very much because he would be gone working all day, and as much as I would try to get work done while I was home with the kids, I realized that it wasn't really effective, and it just meant that I wasn't being very present with them, and I also could not get very much work done. So eventually I was just, you know, staying at home with the kids, and then when my husband would get home, I would either leave or hole myself up in a different room of the house so that I could actually get my work done, because I needed to do my work to pay the bills, and because, like I said, I really loved my work. So once I realized that that was really what I wanted, I started working to be able to make it happen. I needed to figure out how to get more clients and scale my business and charge higher rates so that I could make more money every month and I could be the one who was supporting us full time. And I'm so happy and thankful that this past year I was finally able to make that happen. My business grew to a size that it's making enough money now to support us full time, and it's not just that my business got so big big. It's more that I developed so many different streams of income. You might have heard people talk about multiple streams of income and how great that can be, and it really is amazing because I have about 10 different streams of income. Some of them are passive, some of them are more active, but between all of these different streams of income, I have a lot of stability, which I didn't used to have when I was just doing freelance work, but now I'm able to both have a higher income and have more stability. Okay, so that's kind of the story about where we were and where we are now, but now I want to talk about exactly what I do to make money, because that's probably what you're really the most interested in knowing, right? How I make money, what exactly I do, and maybe some ideas about what you could do to be able to earn money from home yourself. Now, I've actually made an entire video all about the different ways that I earn money from home. There's, like I mentioned, 10 of them, so I'll put a link up there in the corner where you can check that out to find out these specific 10 different ways that I earn money. But I just kind of wanted to give you a big picture here so that you understand what this all looks like together, rather than just seeing all the puzzle pieces in that other video. So basically, back when I was doing only freelance work, what I was doing was I was doing advertising for other businesses. So mostly I would run Facebook ads and I would run Google ads, and I would also do copywriting, which is where you actually write the ads themselves. Now, I did that for a number of years and I really enjoy doing it, not because the work is necessarily so fun, but because it's very interesting to me, and I find that that makes the biggest difference of whether I enjoy something or not, is just how interesting it is and how stimulating it is, like how much I have to think while I'm doing it. The work that I've disliked doing the most in my life has simply been boring work. I really like having my house clean, but I do not like doing housework because I find it so boring. So I have to listen to a podcast or an audiobook or something while I clean my house, just to give you an example of why I find this work so interesting. So after doing advertising work for a number of years, I was getting more and more clients, and I was realizing that while I love doing advertising work and I love working in the marketing world, the thing that I didn't like about it very much was the fact that I was trading my hours for other people's money. So basically what I mean by that was just that it was not passive at all. If I worked for 5 hours, then I got paid a certain amount of money, and if I wanted to earn more money, then I had to work for more hours. Now, if you're an employee right now, you might think, well, duh, that's how it works, right? That's how you make money, is you trade your time for other people's money. But really, that's not quite true. You don't have to do that. You have to give someone else something of value in exchange for their money, which could be your time, or it could be a whole lot of other things. It could be information, like a book you wrote or a guide on how to do something, or it just could be an end result. So for example, even though I was trading my time for my clients' money, it still wasn't a direct hourly compensation. It wasn't like they were paying me $50 per hour or something like that. They were paying me for the results. So that meant that the better I got at doing advertising, the more money I was able to make for every hour that I spent working, because I was able to deliver my clients' results in fewer hours of my time. So that was something that I did like about advertising, the way that I was able to increase my income in that way. But I still did not like the fact that I did have to trade some of my time for the money, and I really wanted something that was more passive, that allowed me to sell a physical or digital object for someone's money so that I didn't have to constantly be working myself. So around the same time that I realized I wanted to become the main income earner in my household was when I decided to start selling digital products also, and also start doing higher paid work, which was mostly coaching and consulting. Now, I'm definitely not one of those people who will tell you, oh, just go read a book about something and then you'll know more about that topic than 99% of people, and you can go tell them how to do it. You can be an expert in your field after reading 1 or 2 books. I do not think that this is how this works at all, because you don't really have the experience or the depth of knowledge that you need to have if you've just read a couple books. I do think that you need to have actual experience in a field of one sort or another, and because it allows you to really practice what you know and to learn things on your own, which allows you to learn them so much more deeply. So that being said, I had worked in advertising for several years at this point, and I had gotten really good at getting results for my clients. So I was starting to have people come to me who wanted me to teach them how to do it for themselves, or else just help them work on their marketing strategy so that they could get better results with maybe an ad manager that they were already working with. So I started to accept these new clients, which were mostly business owners who wanted to get better results with their marketing. And what I quickly discovered was that I was able to charge much higher rates per hour for this type of consulting service rather than for providing a service like doing the ad management myself. So if you're thinking about how you can apply this to your own life and you're trying to figure out what you could do to be able to make some money from home, I would say make sure you learn a skill. Focus on learning a skill, because when you learn a skill, you make yourself more valuable to others. You are innately valuable as a human being, but if you're talking about value in exchange for money, you need to do things to be able to make yourself more valuable to others so that you can help others more effectively. So you can do that by learning a skill, and then you can either use that skill to do freelance work and to be a service provider, or you can use the skill that you've learned once you've gotten some experience to be able to do consulting type work where you're being paid to be an expert essentially and to give other people advice on how they can do it better. Now, which type of work you choose to do really depends on a lot of things, such as do you need money sooner, in which case it might be better to get started with freelance work because it's easier to get clients for freelance work, or do you want to make more money per hour and you have a little bit more time to wait? Then you might want to go the consulting route, because there's a higher income potential there, but it does take longer to get clients. You also need to consider if you want to work with other people and teach people. Do you enjoy teaching? Then you might want to go the consulting route. Whereas if you're not as patient and you don't enjoy working with people quite as much, then you might want to go the service provider route where you can be more working with the actual work and less working with the client. Okay, so going back to what I did and what I'm doing now, I was doing mostly freelance work, but I started doing consulting work for doing marketing. And then the other thing that happened was I started to develop my personal brand more fully and open up a lot more about my experience as a freelancer and my experience working from home. And I started my YouTube channel and I redid my website to focus more on those aspects of my personal brand. So I started attracting an audience of people who were interested in learning how to become their own boss and work from wherever they were, make money from home, and they really wanted to take control of their income and also their freedom. And so these people were interested in a whole different type of product. They didn't really have a use for marketing services or marketing consulting, but what they did have a use for was they needed kind of a step-by-step system for how to, start their own business or how to become a freelancer themselves. And they wanted to learn how to do these things so that they could have all the advantages of being their own boss. So a fair amount of my income actually comes from money I make through my blog and through my YouTube channel, which I've discussed in a few videos in the past. I have one about how much money I make from YouTube, and I have another one all about how I make money through my blog. So I'll link those videos down below if you want to check them out. And one thing that I love about that part of my income is that it's coming from me providing information to other people for free, from me sharing my story and sharing what worked with people, and also sharing a lot of tools and systems for free that people can use. But I also realized that some of these people who were in this part of my audience really wanted more than I was able to provide for free. And so at this point, I also do some coaching work where I work with these people who maybe are working a job right now and they want to become self-employed, or maybe they are self-employed already, but they're not making enough money. So we work on systems and strategies to be able to help them increase their online income or else get started with their own business. So like I said at the beginning of this video, at this point I am able to support my family full-time just doing the work that I do from home, which is amazing and something that I'm so thankful for. If you want some more ideas for ways that you could get started making money from home, I have a couple different blog articles that I've written about jobs that you can do from home, and I will link those down below where you can check them out. And then I also have a free online business quick start guide, which I'll also link down below. It's a completely free little ebook that guides you through the process of starting your own online business so that you can get started making money from home. Okay, well, I really hope that you enjoyed this video and enjoyed hearing about my story and about how I'm able to support my family, because it really is an amazing thing. And if it's something that you're interested in learning more about how to do yourself, then I hope that you find the resources that I linked down below really helpful, and that you found this video helpful also. If you liked this video, please hit that thumbs up button, and also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I make 2 videos like this every single week on topics of intentional living, entrepreneurship, and success, and I would really love to have you join me for the next one. And also, just an exciting tiny little update, we're about to head out on our trip to Europe, where I won't be working from home exactly, I'll be working abroad, which is something I'm super excited about. We're gonna be visiting about half a dozen different countries over the course of 2 months, and I'm gonna be sharing some of it with you here on my YouTube channel, so I'm not quite sure exactly what kind of content I want to put out there in regards to my trip yet. I have a lot of different ideas swimming around in my head, and I'm trying to decide if I want to put it all on this channel or if I want to start a second channel that's more vlog style. Do you want to see work-related videos about how I'm working from abroad, or do you want to see kind of travel vlogs, or do you want to see us trying out different restaurants? I really don't know. I have so many ideas. If you want to leave me a comment down below and just share, what you would find the most interesting or what you'd like to see the most, that would actually really help me out. Okay, well, that's everything that I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you next time.